The Army facing a recruiting crunch. Thousands of young people not signing up while others are too overweight to serve. The National Desk's Angela Brown joins us now with how the Army is finding new ways to get recruits in the door.
Well, you know, the Army, for its part, is missing its recruiting goals, Scott, by 25%. Many people want to serve, but they can't pass this physical test, and now the Army is offering a program to change that.
The Army is fighting its own war for recruits, a war General James McConville believes America has to win.
We had a very challenging year last year. Quite frankly, we didn't make recruiting.
A battle of the mind and bulge being fought in one program.
The Army is investing in the success of young men and women with the Future Soldier Preparatory Course.
The Future Soldier Prep Course launching last year for Jackson. The Army says only 23% of young Americans are fully qualified for entry into the Army.
We have a lot of young men and women that want to serve, and they can't pass the academic requirements or they can't pass the physical requirements.
Military.com says being overweight, the #1 reason young people are disqualified. College watchdog group Campus Reform says universities are partly to blame.
The media, along with academic institutions, is pushing the idea that obesity is okay, obesity is healthy, and fat acceptance is the way to go.
Many factors contribute to being overweight. The CDC pointing to behavior, genetics, access to healthy, affordable foods, etc. We talked to a personal trainer about risk factors.
Higher blood pressure, higher cholesterol, type 2 diabetes.
McConville says 3,000 young people went through the prep course so far. 95% improving scores or lowering body fat.
When they go into initial military training, they've got a heads up on their peers who may be coming in with much higher SAT scores, if you will, or better physical fitness.
And the recruits have a total of 90 days to meet Army standards for basic training. So the Army is not changing its standards for basic training. It's providing a course to help young people meet those standards.
More than 10,000 Army soldiers became obese during the pandemic years, pushing the rate of obesity to 1 in every 4 Army members studied in new research from the Uniformed Services University. The U.S. Navy and Marines also saw an increase in the number of military members who gained significant weight from 2019 to 2021. According to the CDC, 1 in 5 military servicemen and women were obese in 2020. The pandemic is proven to have been taxing on the human body as more and more research has come out. For military members, access to exercise was limited and motivation during COVID decreased. Gyms were closed, group exercise training sessions were put on pause, mental and physical health declined. Last year, the Army failed to meet its recruiting goal for the first time, falling short by 15,000 recruits, or a quarter of the requirement. 75% of Americans between 17 and 24 years old are not eligible for military service. Being overweight is the biggest individual disqualifier. It's a problem only worsened by so-called pandemic pounds. Nearly half of all adults reported gaining weight in the first year of COVID.
When I came out to my team, I had some confidence. I could show people that I am fit to serve. I can be successful. Not only can I be successful, I can be better than I was before when I was pretending to be something I wasn't.
It's been over a year since we first met Staff Sergeant Jessica Hout, when she became one of the first soldiers to test out the U.S. military's new policy that trans troops can serve openly.
How did it go? Went actually great. So we're like, hey, you know, I've been kind of figuring stuff out for myself over the past few months, and went right to it and was like, hey, I'm transgender and I am going to transition.
The military's previous policy towards trans people was pretty much, if you come out, you can get kicked out. It was also quite literally built around things tweeted by former President Trump.
Company, team, Trump.
The Department of Defense is estimated to be one of the country's biggest employers of trans people, so allowing trans soldiers to serve openly was a dramatic step forward. But 1 year after the policy was laid out, the experiences of people within the military have been much more complicated.
Did you get any negative reactions?
I feel like there was a lot of men that I worked with who were just kind of like uncomfortable at first. That was kind of the general air.
You could feel that?
I could feel like they just kind of like looked down like.
Do you think the military is doing enough for trans soldiers?
No. Outside of the military, we are doing everything we can to try and get rid of all the barriers and gatekeeping that has occurred in trans health. And I feel like in the military, we still have those same barriers, requiring a brigade commander to approve my medical treatment plan, requiring a medical treatment plan that has to, in reality, that's quite a violation of some medical privacy.
Every aspect of a soldier's transition has to be approved by the chain of command, from hair length to hormone therapy. A soldier can change their gender marker in the military's database, which is known as DEERS, but only once the military has deemed the soldier as, quote, stable in that gender.
I receive attention just for being myself on a daily because being queer, being non-binary, someone such as myself on a regular gets stared at.
I'm at the top of my game. I'm right up there with the big dogs. Girls, come on. Leave the saving of the world to the men.
Active duty yeoman second class Joshua Kelly doubles as drag queen Harpy Daniels and now is the face of the Navy's recruitment drive as a digital ambassador.